Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, and I am raring to go. I hope all of you are raring to watch and listen and learn. Some of you may want to have a notebook handy, not only to write down any pertinent information, but also to write down item numbers, sometimes in the order that you may want them, because I happen to know that some people buy multiple items, and that's what they do so that they can just speak to the sales rep. I happen to know that there was a couple really setting the sales reps on fire on Monday when the show posted, because remember, I have a little spy that works in the showroom on certain days for another vendor. And she was aware of the one that was hunting down the correct item number for a piece of petrified wood. And it's funny because the client was right. Of course, the client's always supposed to be right, right? That item number, out of all the other item numbers, I didn't include by accident in my export to the computer program of inventory, something like that. I just, I do good to do that much. So it was by the persistence of the client having seen the item, and even through interruptions, I think she had said, by her grandchildren maybe, but between Christy and inventory and communicating with me through the lovely Miss Raven, we got that item number, and I believe the client got the item that she wanted. So I was happy to hear that. And it would have been found by someone else. And because all you have to do is be persistent, because some of the sales reps actually don't go back to the time of when Raven and I had the Monday 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. live show for 9 years. And then prior to that, I was here for 5 years associated with the vendor, and then with my own show also. So, but we have new people working. So if they say, well, we can't take an order for another show after the show is ended, the key word is to say end show. No, this is an end show. And then there'll be A, surprise that you knew what to call it, and then B, it'll come to them and make them realize, oh, okay, then that's different. And that's the key letter of the alphabet to make a difference. You can also always just talk to the floor supervisor and ask for them as well, or for them to come over to the sales rep station so that they can discuss that. And they'll know what to do as well, because yes, the order for this show can be taken 24/7. Even easier than, yes, trying to order something from another vendor live show after it has closed, because many times that inventory is truly gone out the door with the vendor. So with my items, oh no, and not only do I have an office with inventory here, but all the items that are shown in this show are considered as a memo. They get actually locked up in the safe, well, vault, let's call it, and there for your purchasing 24/7. And that's why, even after my show, days after my show, you order something, it gets shipped out right away. If it's to one of the recent shows. So usually they keep the items for about 4 weeks or so after the show has been posted. And you can find out even an item that you may see in one of the archive shows going back months ago. As long as you have that item number, you can find out if it's still in inventory. It may not be here, but it may be in my inventory. And Yes, it is such that I have it all on one of those spooky things called a computer that I can pull up and but pretty much even all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces I have, a description is all I usually need to remember whether I have a piece or not. So anyway, we have got an exciting show planned for you. I am thinking, you know, if I gave away any hints like I used to in the live show, be able to say at the beginning of the show, oh, you're going to get to see this and this and this, and everybody would have to wait until I showed it live, right? But I'm afraid if I give any previews of any cool stuff I'm going to show, it's called a remote control fast forward button, and no, the show is designed for perfect flow and harmony so that you go from piece to piece in the order of that I say so. That's the order it goes in. And you're not supposed to use contraptions called fast forwards. So anyway, we do have a lot of neat things for you. And I decided that I need Toofy money before I need Mo money. But overall, yeah, old age, getting to me. Can't wait till that next Social Security check. I already see what they, you know, that Social Security syndrome, the SSS, because you live from Social Security check and can't wait till you get the next one. One check is all it took to catch that old age disease. All right, now, not too many of you answered the trivia, increasing the odds for those of you that won. Anthony did really well, but he opted out, increasing the odds even more. So let's go over those comments and let's see who won. So first, the trivia, and for those of you that may not be familiar with that, we do two trivia questions or some form of trivia at the end of every show. The other week, we actually had two specimens, and it was to determine what they were. One was calcite, and everyone seemed to get that one right, but the other one was kind of tricky because it was a piece of chrysocolla. And of course, the idea being that most people would say turquoise and wouldn't think of chrysocolla, which is what happened. And so I showed the picture of the just one piece of chrysocolla that came from the same mine, the Star of the Congo mine, and of course it's in French, so it's Étoile du Congo is the name of the mine. But that mine produces some amazing chrysocolla across all forms and colors. And so, yes, there's botryoidal formations of chrysocolla, but they don't always form in layers like some of the botryoidal formations of malachite or in the concentric rings. So it's a secondary copper deposit. In other words, it is formed from a prior copper mineral in multiple different ways, how that can happen. I've got an interesting piece to show you today that relates to chrysocolla, and so just hang on, because it's really one of my favorites for a lot of different reasons. So yeah, neat things planned. So questions. The questions were from the other show was, what is a term used for a mine that is closed and no longer producing? And it's really a term I learned. I mean, I would have thought, oh, mine's closed would be satisfactory, or certainly I run into my share of the closed mines with the sign that says, "Danger, do not enter." Lives have been lost by crossing this gate, door. I have come across so many different ways that mine owners have closed off the entrance to their mine because there is always those, I want to say gold fever, which is usually what it is. It's not, but it doesn't have to be a gold mine. It's just a mineral or gem fever. And, anything that says no trespassing, anything that says is posted, I do not cross. I do not do that. And let me tell you why. You'll, if you got a minute. For those who haven't heard this story, I'll never forget. I was actually out with my metal detector, with my metal detecting friend, right up here, and it wasn't, I didn't live in the county then, but I ended up to later live in Forsyth County where this occurred. And it was up on the Etowah River, and which is a very old river that runs and feeds into Lake Altoona. And it is the gold river. Okay, so it's the river that really runs through gold country. But there's a lot of parts of it that run through, like the Dawson Wildlife Management Area and other very rural places. So we parked, and we were just randomly walking along the river. And each of us, we didn't have guns, so we weren't hunting, which is the big taboo to do on someone else's property. We had our metal detectors, and we, we're just kind of hanging near the river, didn't see any homes. Next thing we hear, and I can't say the actual quote due to Southern language, but it was, "What are you two blank blank doing on my property?" And with that, we turned around, and there was literally a double barrel, and I know shotguns, 12 gauge shotgun leveled at our stomachs. Just shooting from the hip, didn't have to be pointed. That's all you have to do with a scatter gun. And with that, the only thing you can admit and say is the truth. And that was, we were just trying to, get a feel, prospect. We didn't realize we strayed onto private property, la-di-da-di-da-di. And meanwhile, you're moving backwards. You are heading away back to your car. And so that was certainly a lesson which happened early on in my rugged prospecting days to kind of be aware of your boundaries. But it was also prior to GPSs in your telephone, which, I can pull up, and I do it, I can pull up county records, see exactly property lines. I can see if there's a house on a property, how many acres are to that land, who owns the land, everything else about it, and I can overlay that onto where I am. So back then, you couldn't do that. But it's certainly a lesson that once learned, and you're facing Southerner like that, then you don't forget. But so mine doors, that's always been something that people have tried to go around, and you can always tell if there is a way around. Some are really closed and sealed solid shut. So others the doors are there. There's no signs posted. You could tell people there's been a way around them. And I have gone back around. But nowadays, it's not like in the old days. Nowadays, you can find information about these old mines, and there'll be a blog or a site that'll pull up, and it can give you information. And sometimes you can just contact the owner, and everything's cool, and then you're good to go. Or there's a fee, or there's just no, stay away, don't go near it. End of story. So, Yeah, I'm familiar. So a lot of mines, that's what I knew. It's just, okay, mine's closed, it's old, that's the end of the story. No. The word they give that I learned for a mine instead of just closed is extinct. Extinct. And I always associate extinct, of course, with a living animal that is no more, of its kind on the planet. The dinosaurs are extinct. They used to think the Sweet Home mine in Colorado was extinct for a while until they went in for another purpose and found, what its real treasure held instead of silver. So extinct sounds too permanent. I think there's always, another vein to follow, another possible pocket. But that is the rainbow chaser in me. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that is question number 1. Question number 2 is, what is the gem name for a chalcedony colored by chrysocolla? There's that word again, chrysocolla, that mineral. And so, of course, the answer is truly one of the most valuable quartz, if not the most valuable quartz there is. Probably is the most valuable type of quartz/agate, and that is gem silica. Now, when I think of other real valuable type of chalcedonies, I think of fire agates. I have seen some amazing fire agates. There is, of course, the really fine natural purple chalcedonies. Along those lines, and but nothing comes even close to gem silica, which is a quartz again that develops that bluish Paraíba kind of color by the salts, the copper salts that are leached out of chrysocolla and affect the quartz in a way that colors the quartz. And, the quartz almost is always a little bit cloudy, kind of like a rose quartz. So I haven't ever seen any quartz that is just completely clear, like a Brazilian tourmaline with that color. It just always has a little bit of translucency, not transparency to it. But I have seen some awfully translucent ones and some real beauties. And a lot of people, until it was really, quote, discovered, were sitting on these beautiful big pieces of colored quartz that they just were hanging on to because there was really no market for it. Or if there was, it wasn't a developed market for value. And then all of a sudden, of course, when value was attributed to gem silica and that color, a lot of people found all of a sudden that they were sitting on, some people 6 figures of material I've seen that they had, and their stories behind it. So then, the Ray mine out in Arizona producing fantastic specimens with gem silica as part of the specimen. The value of all those specimens went way up now. So it's great material. So maybe someday you'll get to see a couple more pieces. If nothing else, just to show you, maybe to purchase. You never know. All right, so those are the 2 answers. Let's go. We only have a few comments, so we'll go through those. Jan and Dennis chiming in. Hi, Shawn, it's me, Jan, again. We want to thank you for all the goods we bought from last week's show. Well, congratulations to you on those purchases, Miss Jan. So you were the lucky one to be able to get a lot of those items. And I also read your question and potential request. So let me look into that regarding the piece that you're looking for, and just see if that's anything that I can find or work out for you. And then, I love the fact that everybody has she refers to a closet story. And of course, that is in reference to me always saying, okay, yeah, this is what to take to the closet. And of course, that's where I just happen to go. That's really dark, close to where I do the inventory, and I can close the door, and everybody needs to really wait 3 minutes for their lights to adjust. That's how they officially, long you're supposed to wait to be able to make a proper assessment for fluorescent minerals. And oftentimes it's like, I don't want to wait that long. When you're waiting for something, that seems like a long time. You know, it's about a long time it takes for popcorn. So sometimes that's too long. But so I go to the closet, and then that's where I'll take my short and long wave. And sometimes I have hands full of rocks and try to do way more than I should in one hand. But I'm afraid if I set up a table in the closet, the Raven might have something to say about that when I set up a little fluorescent lab in there. Okay. Yeah. Probably I don't know. Maybe she'll go along with it. You know, as long as you don't set up that display you want to use the Geiger for. Of course, that's her term for a Geiger counter. Yeah, that might be a little different. I think I have some specimens that glow without without using any light of those in the closet. Since none of all of you have wanted what I call a responsible mineral collector specimen, even in the econite, the faceted, the only gemstone that has that rare property that you have to be really responsible for. No one ever wanted them, and I actually have a collection of a few of them. Really, actually quite pretty, quite unique. But yeah, but they're, you know, they have a special property to them that you have to be responsible for. And hence, mine is behind several layers of, well, I found that malachite box is one of the best shields, but it's inside, that and a couple other things. Yeah, but it's a neat collection that I can say not many people have. And a lot of people actually do. They actually collect radioactive minerals. Yeah. Not me. I just wound up with all ones that nobody else wanted. Okay, so also, Miss Jan and Dennis, I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Dennis, with your health issues, and all of our prayers will be for you on those as well. So, always have, rockhounds always have stories to tell, don't we? She goes on to say, we love you, Shawn, and we're saving our money for you. Oh, that'd be great, because I have health issues, just like Mr. Dennis, that's about the only way, you know. Doctors used to work for a head of cabbage or a few eggs from the farm. Did I tell you that story? I'll tell you one quick story. When I first met my doctor that I still go to, you know, for my bad back, I started taking him a rock every month. And he kind of looked at me kind of odd, but when I first explained to him, I said, now I realize that you're not going to let me off for free. But I said, and I told him what I did, and I said, I am still just honoring the old-time tradition of how the doctor got paid, and that was with a bartering system. And out of all the different trades, the doctor's trade was one that was actually bartered the most, whether it was, you know, tomatoes, cabbage, you know, fresh ham, you know, that kind of thing. And he came home with a bunch of groceries. So, too bad it wasn't still that way. But so I did that for years, and of all the people that I've known, he is, and this was years ago, when it was a little bit different environment and easier to do, but he's the only person, he and his family, I actually gave a tour of the studio to. And I figured the one that takes care of my health to keep me going would be a proper one to do that too. And he was real interested. Yeah. And of course, I got a client from him as well, and that's kind of nice. And that's what we like here at Gem Shopping. It's a family type environment, and the clients we get have often been with us, like Jan and Dennis, done years and years and years and years. And my doctor, 15 years, and associated with here, so as well. So, yeah. And then Miss Jan goes on to say, by the way, I love the bracelet you made for me and all of your parcels and specimen pieces, specimens mostly. Can't wait to see your next show. Triple lips, that means kisses, triple kisses. Happy Easter too. Hugs, Jan and Dennis. Thank you both, very kind. Mr. Harry in Massachusetts, happy Easter to you, Professor Shawn, and also to Raven and Summer, and also all the great gang over there at GSN. And let's not forget all the wonderful sisters and brothers in the rock, gem, and minerals. Boy, what a crazy week. Shawn, I got a project from a guy at work. Oh, all of you, you have to hear this story. You have to hear this story. It's heartbreaking. Okay, well, I'll go on. Shawn, I got a project from a guy at work. He wanted a nice pendant for his wife, so I happened to have a good size piece of peridot rough from Pakistan. And so I cut him a sweetheart design, which is a cleftless heart stone, and it ended up being 10.5 by 10.3. So I had him order a 4-prong heart basket setting, 10 millimeter. So I got the stone all mounted nice. When the gold came in, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, how much what we call findings. So like the gold to a pair of earrings if you had stones to set, or if you had a stone you wanted a pendant made out of. With the price at gold at record levels, they are so expensive. It just, believe me, when they quote you here at Gem Shopping on price, it's not them overinflating it. It is due to the cost of gold now. I had him order a 4-prong heart basket. I got the stone all mounted. When the gold came in, it was $187. And this is cost, from one of these, wholesale places. $187 for a blank heart pendant basket setting with your average molded bale. Needless to say, I ended up going to a bud's house to use his bench buffer and ultrasonic. Well, not having a lot of experience with his buffing wheel pads, because Harry probably does, I would guess, a lot of his buffing just at the bench using a Fold'em flex shaft. But when you get those bigger wheels, what happens is they tend to grab. If you don't know exactly how and where to hold onto a particular piece when you're buffing a ring, it will literally grab and pull it out of your hand and what I call sling it at tremendous force, often causing issues with the stone if that is done. It's a terrible thing. And I used to, when I managed a trade shop and had 7 other goldsmiths working for me, and this is still back when there was a lot of hippies, those old hippies in their hair. It was one time when truly you needed to tear your hair back, because I would demonstrate and just use a towel and just let the towel barely catch a spinning buffing wheel. And it would grab that towel and just sling it, and it cost me a busted light bulb, because it would shatter the glass, make this big poof noise, and really got their attention. And they learned right then, and I never saw one without tying his hair back for that reason. And, so there's a lot of things you have to be careful of working at the bench. And if you want to see a lot of others, go to the How It's Done series, and we show you all of those how it's done, including how and what not to do to avoid dangers at the bench. But if you want to know how a stone is set, a ring is sized, that's a great site that, again, I'm the host and I do the work. It was produced and directed by Asif, so you're going to get a quality, very educational 20 to 30 minute episode. There's 30 different ones of them. We show you and create a handmade piece and also do a lost wax casting piece. So listen, let me go on and listen to this. Okay, so he went over to his buddy's house to use the bench buffer. Well, not having a lot of experience on his buffing wheel pads, I actually got good at larger smooth item bands and flat items. But this was a different animal. And I had no clue what could possibly happen. Well, as I am buffing the gold out, all of a sudden I heard a bang. And what I was holding disappeared. And it disappears lightning fast. And it bounces. And it is gone out of that buffing area before you can even see it go. Holy meat. Shawn, the whole piece went flying backwards into the screen guard over his fan box until, well, I opened up the fan filter compartment, and there in the bottom is my peridot. 4.8 carat cleftless heart stone, but no setting. So it knocked the stone out of the setting. The setting you can't find. Yup. Nowhere to be found. Of course, his basement is full of boxes of rocks and woodworking project parts and all kinds of too much clutter everywhere, which means all kinds of unusual places for that setting to drop into or disappear. After an hour, I went upstairs with the stone in hand and just about broke into tears. I need help is all I could scream. Another gal friend offered her eyes to help try finding my setting. And it's amazing how another set of eyes can make a difference. She looked for less than 1 minute, bent over, and stood up and said, "Is this it?" And sure enough, I could not believe it. It was a miracle, and everything went back together perfectly. And that I even showed the piece, and my friend's wife was elated. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Shawn, she had never in 25 of married years, he had never bought her a piece of jewelry at all. Sorry, I had to tell you this story. And in the end, I gave the gal that found the setting, I gave her a 2-carat red zircon as a reward. I think it was well earned and saved my LOL. That's a great story because it has a great ending. And it's amazing in a shop where things can go. One other quick story I'm going to tell you, because over all these years, I have several, but one of the most bizarre ones was a 1/4 carat diamond. This 25-point diamond completely disappeared. It was a nice stone. You know, they cost retail probably anywhere from $400 to $600. Found nowhere. I mean, you know, you end up looking down in your shoe. I've looked in my shoe. I've looked in so many places. He looked over and over again. Couldn't find it. It was days later when he was walking, and where his pair of shoes was, he accidentally kicked the shoe over, and it was still stuck in the tread of his pair of shoes, his sneakers he was wearing. Stuck in between the tread. He could, of course, the diamond, the glinting of it, that's all he needed. But he never thought to look on the bottom of the shoe. Things like that. And then I actually brought in, this is a stapler that I treasure because I remember my mom in the 1960s at her orange desk that I still have and use all the time with equipment because it's L-shaped. This swing line stapler. And just to show you, this morning, this is what I staple. I use it to staple together the comment notes. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get the stapler to work. And so I opened the thing up and I'm fiddling with it. And all right, so this piece of metal right there and this red stone that I'm holding, it was right underneath this piece of metal. And what I was doing, yeah, you can see it right there, right there. So it was right underneath that piece of metal. So when you actually push down on this staple part, you can see the pressure, and there's the stone. I kept hitting this stapler, and every time I smashed that stone a little smaller. Luckily, it wasn't any, it's stuck under there now. Luckily, it was only a garnet, because that's how easy things can happen. Because this garnet was on my bed, and what you're going to get to see today are parcels I made up with tumbled garnets that I tumbled, and I apparently dropped one on the cover of the bed, which is where I do a lot of my inventory, just because can set up with everything around me and set the pillows up for support my back, and I have my printer off to one side, my computer in front of me, and so that's all it took. And I had the stapler on the covers and that loose. Who would have ever thought the odds and the number of things that have to happen for that to have gotten stuck under there? And it's one of those, why isn't this stapler working? Of course, it's lasted, older than I am, just about, and whacking on the top of that thing, and I know how to make garnet sand now. So it just goes to show you that even just today, and it's funny because I did that, I was stapling together the comments that I had just proofread, so I can leave out any bad words any of you say. Like, Harry, I have to, redact all the time there. But yeah, I understand that story, Harry, about losing it, and it is actually quite, if you would have told me it was gone and you never found it after looking for, 3 of you for 2 days, I would have believed you. But all it takes is a separate pair of eyes. I always call Raven when something misses, because all I have to do is get her involved. Either all she has to do is say, what item, or what are you looking for? Or, let me look for it. And she has a sense of magic and aura about her that bestows upon the entire situation, and it is found within moments. She almost has a 100% count on get her. So when she's not around and I drop something, it's like, oh no, what am I going to do? She's not around to, bring her into the event. And somehow it always appears. She just always says, you men, you just can't find anything ever. Especially in the fridge, she says. So I'm looking for something. All right, Cindy in Pennsylvania says, oh, by the way, pics. Harry sent me some amazing pics he cut of a tiger eye. Beautiful. And from that onyx he showed me last weekend. And I don't know if I ever answered your question, Harry, on the chips on the edge of the onyx. That is where they're naturally going to form. If there's any sharper edge to the onyx, it'll chip away. Same thing, that's one of the starting points, is the narrow portion if you're going to flint or nap, or in that case, pressure nap obsidian. So oftentimes, it's those little abraded edges is how you can determine what it is, if it is onyx, because that's where it will abrade and chip away due to the conchoidal fracture and its glass type nature, not silica, glass type nature to the material. Cindy in Pennsylvania, hello, Rock family. So enjoyed the show this week. Shawn, wonderful treasures. If I accumulated 50 years of opal in a jar like you did, I do not think I could part with it. Trivia, extinct and gem silica. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Opal diamond ring, OMG, forever fave. That opal. Well, no one has fessed up to it, but that opal has been sold, because I know I have it back to size. It's funny. Really, technically, the way that it happens, it should actually be sized by the gem shopping jewelers, but my items, they give them back to me. I think they know that I prefer to size them, or would rather have sized them anyway, and especially if they're an opal. So that's the only reason I know that ring sold, and I'm thrilled. I'll be more than happy to size it. Mr. Anthony, another great informative show. There was some talk and mention of chrysocolla and gem silica, of which I am a fan, and I've acquired quite a bit, not gem silica, but chrysocolla. Recently on a mineral auction site, a rather large specimen of gem silica fetched $26,500. I absolutely believe it. Cabinet size, 12 by 6 by 6.5. That's huge. 437 grams. Okay, do the math on price per gram. That is expensive, but that's a big piece. Partially polished. Truly an amazing piece. Oh man, two smart and lucky collectors scored the 2 petrified wood with chalcedony. Unfortunately, not I. My backup was the triplite with quartz. I also was able to get the 5 diamond parcel. You didn't do too bad there, Mr. Anthony, because both of those were one of a kinds. Never know what you may see today. Trivia got both of the answers right, but he opted out, so it leaves it open for someone else. I like what you said about the Rock family, how you were proud of us. No matter how old you get or experiences one has been through, it's still nice to hear. Speaking for myself, much of what I know about Earth's treasures, minerals, and jewelry comes from you. So thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Very kind to say. And I am proud of all of you. And yeah. As I am writing, I'm watching The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Great classic. Eyes down. That's where the rocks are. It is a great classic. Good choice. Miss Kathleen says, hello, Shawn and the rest of the Rock family. It's good to hear that they will be again moving forward on your renovations. Love the opal ring and emerald parcel. Thanks for another great show. Hoping everyone has a great week. Trivia, extinct, and gem silica. Getting those right as well. Well done. Miss Elisa says, hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. Shawn, I should have guessed it was chrysocolla and not an easy turquoise answer. Thanks for reminding me that confidence is not the same as arrogance. My answer to this week's trivia are extinct and gem silica. Very good. Thank you for another great show. You all are such a great team, and it shows. Pun intended. Have a good week, everyone. Yep, I was telling someone here already earlier this morning how many shows that Raven and I had done together. A lot. Miss Barbara in Brooklyn says, chrysocolla. As Barbara would. From the botryoidal structure in the Mindat photo and saying it came in lots of colors, I was sure you'd say smithsonite or maybe even hemimorphite. Those would be some rare colors in both those. But no, still wrong. That question sure made us put the thinking caps on. Typing on the Shaky City bus right now on a gorgeous 80-plus degree sunny day. So I'll just do the trivia. A closed and non-producing mine is extinct, and chalcedony color by chrysocolla is called gem silica. Hope your house stuff shifts into high gear. And don't forget to request the pipe wrap installation from the new project manager. Yes, that's if the new project manager would show up for his appointed time. Oh yeah, we had another miscue, but things are supposed to be moving next week. Cross my fingers and keep crossing them, Shawn. We won't talk about that. But yeah, Miss Barbara, I knew that you would find the answer to that quite different. But that's why I also wanted to show, go to Mindat. You will see all the different other colors and forms that chrysocolla can come in. And you'll find that it can come in larger, even colored. It doesn't have to have any banding. It doesn't have to have any multicolors in it. That there is large pieces of chrysocolla in those kind of color tones. And you'll get to see something at some point. I'm not going to give it away. That you'll find quite interesting. Okay, so there we have it, and then we have a winner. So when we have people all answer the same, we pick a number and a name, and we match one with the other. And I ask a random one of the gang for a number in between 1 and however many get it correct. And then that's how we choose the answer. And the answer this week, well, I just want to make sure, because I had written it down, and it's at, yeah, okay. Ready, set, Miss Lisa, you are the winner this week. Yes, you are. Congratulations. Let's show you. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, this is perfect. I think every item that a person gets is made to be for that person to receive it. This is a large, and it is one of the most unusual ones I have actually seen. Rock crystal is a name given to high quality quartz. So it shouldn't have any inclusions or anything like that. This is a natural quartz. Now, the other thing that is really neat is both the pavilion, the bottom portion of the stone, and the crown are both concave cut. Concave cut is where the facet is not flat. It is actually concave. In other words, curves inward. You can see the kind of brilliance that you can develop from that type of cutting. Is actually a special tools that hook onto the fastening machine to be able to do that. So congratulations to you. I'm going to put that away and we'll be right back with the show. All right, I have something before I get started and then not do it. This is not for sale. This is just an educational item. All right, so what I wanted to show you is a quick lesson on what to look for in genuine ivory. So I have a piece here. It's not for sale because we don't sell any ivory here, nor should anyone in general. But this is an estate piece of ivory, and you may always need to know how to determine it from being genuine ivory or bone or anything else. Main thing is you want to be able to know if it's ivory or not, as you should if you're in this business. Okay, it's real easy. Ivory tusks grow in two directions. They grow lengthwise and they grow, of course, in width. Now, what that creates with the material are two intersecting, let's just call them growth lines. Two intersecting growth lines that when they do and carve the piece, it is almost impossible in the piece somewhere not to have this particular pattern, and it is a diamond-shaped pattern. And let me show you if we, with the help of a little bit more magnification, Dave, if you could just iris through the different colors so you and me get that. There we go. There we go. All right. So you can see in the material itself, two not only slightly different colors, but there we go. That's the magic we need right there. You can actually see intersecting lines that create almost a diamond-shaped pattern. You can see it not only on the surface, but in the magnified part of it. And like I said, different portions, depending on where in the part of the tusk you carved it from, will have different amounts of that diamond-shaped pattern. So I'm kind of moving this in and out through the different focal planes of it so that you can see it at one point or another. And as long as you have that image captured in your head, then you will be able to always distinguish that, because there's no way that they've been able to make any kind, there, oh Dave, that made a huge difference, any kind of resins or plastics or any way to manufacture something that has that natural diamond shape, which you can see there, and then let me try, there you go, you can see it on here. Now, the difference in color is very, very subtle, but with magnification, it's almost impossible for you to miss. You can see the intersecting lines that create that pattern. When you see, there you go, you can see it very distinctly there in the shaded portion of it. Once you see that pattern, you know you have ivory. If you cannot find that pattern, then the next thing you could have would be possibly bone. Now, bone also gives itself away, because at one end of the bone or the other, there's going to be the little marrow holes, little tiny holes in the bone. You can see, of course, the intersecting pattern in this, so that, of course, determines that as ivory. Thank you, sir. Again, with bone, I'm going to set that down. Again, with bone, you have only the holes that are going to be there, and they're going to be at one end or the other. So somewhere in the piece, you're going to see tiny, tiny little, what would have been the marrow holes. But then directly opposite of those holes, you should be able to see some others traveling what would be lengthwise down the bone. And then anything after that would be plastics you can do. You can actually see, even from that distance, the crisscross pattern of the design, telling you that it's natural ivory. All right, I'll put that away, and then we'll get back to the show. All right, now, I have not shown you this carving ever, because of course you know I love owls and collect owls, so I decided though I would part with one. And this is from, of course, that collection of Indonesian ivory going back many, many, many years. Those of you that have been watching me and following me, you know I part with a piece every now and again. Just because I haven't shown any doesn't mean I don't have them. This owl is a special piece, and I'm deciding to part with it. Now, the thing about Indonesian amber, now a lot of amber will fluoresce, but Indonesian amber, it has a wonderful blue fluorescence. So much so that if you have a fluorescent collection, either a piece of rough Indonesian amber or a carved piece of Indonesian amber needs to be added to that collection just for its fluorescence, if no other reason. Now, let me show you. If you have a nice quality piece of Indonesian amber, now this has been around 20 million years old. You can read different amber articles. I even read one a few days ago that talked about amber polymerizing, which is a chemical process that amber has to go through to be technically and truly amber instead of copal or a younger form of resin. This was actually in regards to insects being in amber. You know, and it talked about it happening in 50,000 years. I don't see that happening in 50,000 years. I don't see amber forming in really anything less than a million years type thing. At least hundreds of thousands of years. If everything is right by way of pressure and whatnot, maybe it can form faster and polymerize and get that reaction quicker, but I don't know. I think it's a much longer process. So it's easy to tell when something isn't amber, but that'll be for another day. And that material is called copal, and there's many ways you can tell. But a pin test always works really quickly. If you're familiar and have genuine amber, and then have genuine copal, both which you know are amber and to be copal. And use a heated pin of the same size in each. There's a definitely different smell and a different amount of burn or melt that pin is going to create in the material. Just get used to which is which, and then you'll be able to make a field test with something as simple as that. Now, let me show you what really makes this of value. When I put a light behind it, look at that. Look at how transparent this material is. It is also a wonderful, wonderful cherry red. Look at that color when you get into some of the thicker bodied parts of some areas. And that is, in Indonesian amber, you can get a lot of other organic material in it. It even has a feather. And this piece, I'm not seeing any organic material. Which of course is going to be little darker areas, black areas. The other neat thing about this is there is no spangles. It is not heat treated. There's not gone through any kind of treatment process. And yeah, amber being what it is, you can actually rub amber and it develops a very strong static electricity. And that's another way to, another test. Another fun thing it will do. So you can see, this is a very transparent piece of amber. which is rare for Indonesian material. A lot of it has some organic material. The other neat thing is the way this is carved. This is actually carved with a talon up holding something that it had caught. You almost never see it carved in that respect. I have a sale on this guy. Why not? It is really old because amber can dry out also. So if I've had something for years and years and there is no other whitish areas where it's drying out or splits or cracks in it, that's a really good thing. So it has been pre-prepared for you atmospherically to not have, it's not going to do any of those other things because it would have done it already on my money in my flat instead of yours. Price on this is only $68. Only $68 on that guy. All right, I have so much to do. I need to probably move faster, but there's so much neat stuff that I want to talk about, and also that you want to learn from for the item. Let's look at this one. This is something really different. 11-11-923. Okay, so a lot of times it takes me a while to inventory because I end up with things like this. Look at this. Oh yes, it is exactly what you see it to be. And that is, yeah, sure can. That would be 11-11-923. Do you have the info? Okay, yeah, there you go. No, oh, look at that. What happened? Oh, you're right. I did do that wrong. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. That just gave away something else coming up. 11-11, hold on. 11-12-923. Hopefully that gets us there. Wait. I am, hold on. I'm not, I apologize to everybody. I have it. Here it is, 11-12-523. Jeez. That's what happens when I get everything out ahead of time and set it out, and then I get everything rearranged wrong. Yes, that's it. Okay, that'll take me a minute to talk about. Okay, we finally got the right item. All my fault. I wish. Dave just asked me if that was solid. Oh, well, that would weigh a pound plus. This would be, okay, so what we have here is a group of, there's 6, yeah? And the only way I figured it out was counting their noses to make sure that I got all 6. Here is the neatest thing. All right, there's a couple of wonderful hallmarks on it here that tells you what you want to see. Right here is made in Israel, so that's very plain and clear. And then right here it says sterling with 925 in the middle. Right here you have the 925 stamp. Now as we go into the hallmark, okay, on this piece, you can see that it could be an M over a G, and this way it looks like a G. Yeah, exactly, there you go. Oh, GW himself. All right, a G over a W. Now, I am going to leave it up to all of you to do a little homework to kind of see who or what you can find out with that hallmark, and being Israeli made. I would think that that would be enough information for you to do a little homework and find out about it. Now, I do know it's a pre-1988 item, and that is due to the hallmarks that are on here. Now, the other thing is, you know, we think 1980s doesn't sound too long ago, but that is actually 40 years plus. Okay, the patina. The patina on a silver item is the tarnish. It's the fancy word for tarnish, but it deserves a fancy word. One time I memoed out, and in the jewelry business, that means you, on a person's signature, you give them items to sell to, maybe they have a client. There are other people in the business, right? So this was a lady, I had my antique estate jewelry store in Chambly, and she was well known to be an estate antique dealer. I had this incredible hand engraved cigarette. You remember when cigarettes were popular? Cigarette holder, that cigarette case, and it was beautifully done. And you know, you could easily have put credit cards in it or modernized it for another use, but it had a amazing aged patina. The piece was age stamped. It was Hallmark stamped for being English and all the other goodies on it. Well, she took that piece and she brought it back to me, and it was all shiny. And I could see she wanted to like drop it off and run because, oh no, I opened it up while she was there and I could not help it. I just went off on her right then and there. And she goes, well, I knew my client would want it to be shiny, and she didn't even sell it. She didn't even sell it. You never, especially if it's someone else, you'd never remove a patina unless it's at their request, because this took, well, a minimum of 40 years, I know it is age-wise. So you're probably looking at, the piece is probably much older than that. So you're, you know, let's say 50, 60, 70 years to get this much tarnish on it. And to remove that, you're removing part of its history. And yes, all you have to do is dip it in that stuff and it would be all shiny. Or you can take a polishing cloth and you could make it all shiny, at least on the very surfaces. But you wouldn't be able to get back in the crevices. So if you dip it in that liquid silver, that material, unless you counteract the liquid with a chemical, then it actually causes the piece to turn faster. It's just not something I usually recommend unless it's used properly. But it certainly works for stripping tarnish off, I can tell you that. All right, so this piece with the maker mark and the incredible patina is a true collector's item. Israeli made pieces are very, very hard to find and very rare. Now, when I was doing some research on it, it was kind of interesting to note that a lot of Israeli made items were pigs. So I'm not Hebrew, so I can't tell you what that means relative to the faith or relative to the people, but you know, I do know that they don't eat pork, so maybe that's some. It is. The cloven hoof animals are filthy animals. You're not supposed to eat them, but but they are the other white meat, and you know. Loved at NASCAR races. So there's, you know, a lot that you can say. But in the South here, we love our barbecue. That's all I'm going to say about that. But as a collector's piece, I can say I have never run across another Israeli object of art because I didn't know what else to call this. It's a sculpture. It could be one of a kind. The weight, it certainly has weight. It's not solid. That's what Dave asked. 96 grams. So there's over 3 ounces, 3 troy ounces of sterling silver there. The maker, it could be someone really famous, and I might just be giving something completely away. It's only $244. And for the weight against the value, that is very inexpensive, especially when I already know that the origin of the country is hard and rare to find. So being the unknown maker of it, I am certainly gambling because even if it was a multi-produced item, at the weight and the hallmark that it is, it would still be worth that. So I'm at the bottom end of the scale. The value could only be greater than that. So I just thought it was really unique, and it has the original patina on it, which is really, really cool. One more little note about patina. My mom, 6 children, she worked, my dad worked. She finally treated herself to have a maid come once every 2 weeks. My mom, of course, she was born in Shanghai, China. You know, I'm proud of my wonderful Chinese heritage. It was at a very cultural time. And so when my mom was forced to come back to the United States because my mom's mom, my grandmother, was, of course, Irish. That's where I get the Irish from. And, of course, was Catholic Irish. Well, when my grandfather, my Chinese grandfather, told my my Irish grandmother that she should be complimented, she was #1 wife. And he had 5 others behind her. And she did not accept being #1 wife, which is at the time, pre-communist China, was a, you know, you should be honored. But she wasn't very honored. So she took my mom and her 3 siblings at the time, came back to Kankakee, Illinois as paupers. When my mom there, my grandfather had 7 square city blocks owned in Shanghai at the time. And also they had a summer and winter home. And my mom came back to a squalor is all they could afford to live in, but that's what she lived in, and when she was 7 years old. So a rich history there. So my mom had these different Oriental objects of arts that she, my grandmother, had brought back from China, and they were the real deal. Each one of us ended up getting one of them, and then some other items when she passed away. But these items, she actually let, with 6 kids, she let and trusted them to be displayed. She didn't just put them up and leave them to be wrapped up in a chest. She actually had them out. Well, I remember to this day, I'll never forget it, my mom came home and the maid was so proud because she spent the day with the brass cleaner and these amazing, even large brass sculptures with this ancient, some hundreds of year old greenish patina on them. She polished and polished and polished it all off. I remember there were I should mic up Asif because that's the only way you can find humor in it, because I remember my mom's face, and I remember this poor maid thinking and being so proud, and my mom could not help but, and my mom was a calm, peaceful.
Chinese, she would have never left the maid home alone.
You're right. You're right.
You would have been following her every step of the way.
Yes, my mom definitely went out on the plank in trusting the maid and leaving their house with these objects of art that, without prefacing the fact not to clean them up. And I will never forget the exchange, let's put it, between the maid and my mom. The disappointment in the maid's face when she realized that it wasn't a good thing that she did. She erased a couple hundred years of provenance and of age, and they just looked like, Kmart brass items of no value.
Meanwhile, the floors were still dirty.
Yes! Meanwhile, the floors were still dirty. No, it took her hours. I am not kidding you. It took her hours. And I remember this even sitting there watching her do it thinking, Mom's not going to like this. Us kids even knew not to do anything to him to affect that patina. So what I'm saying is this dark color on these, leave it. Because let me show you how I can show you it's genuine. Look around the edge on the bottom. This is where air, so this sat in one spot, and just due to the slight height of these stickers, enough air got around the edge, especially over here on this side, to tarnish right at the edge. But where air couldn't get back underneath it, there is no tarnish. So this, because you can make and create tarnish fake patinas, that shows you it's a genuine patina. Also on the tips of things, when it's missing and a little bit polished, it's just from the occasional people picking them up or touching it or dusting it off, like the top of the ear. That shows you that is an original patina there. So anyway, $244, that is an amazing opportunity if you want to collect something rare and unique and unknown, some of it as well. Let me show you the next item. It is 1/1/22/23. Now, we'll go from, Shawn's probably messing it up again. Black onyx bracelet. It is 1/11/22/23. I say it different. Okay, you want to see the label?
Yeah, go ahead and put it on here.
Okay, so here's the label. And what this is, look at this. All right, now, there is something I want to tell you as far as this bracelet goes. So we have genuine black onyx. There is approximately 25 carats of black onyx, 9 stones. It is sterling silver, vermeil. And the vermeil is a thicker coat than just gold plating. The bracelet is 27 grams with the weight of the stones, the length 7¼ inches. Okay, it's an estate piece. Now, here's something also I don't normally see, and that is in the stamping of this, if this is the one I'm remembering, it has, oh boy, I made it up. It had, maybe that's another one. Oh, right there. There. Okay, so it has not only the 925, but it has a 14 karat stamp also, which is real unusual. I think it's upside down, but real unusual to actually have the stamp of the 14 karat part. All right, now, how do I know? And boy, poor Raven, she got a whole lesson. You can imagine her having to put up with me. She got a entire lesson on black onyx from this one piece. Dave, I may need you to do your magic. I am going to show everyone what to do and how to look for the real deal. All right, now, you can see right here, that looks extremely black, but you can see a little bit of color through that stone. Let me go through a couple of these. What you want to see is exactly that. You want to see some type of color. Now let me show you. You can see in the corner there. Now there's a giveaway coming up here. Right there it is. All right. When you can see banding going through the stone in that really actually reddish carnelian type of color. Now let me actually point that down, go to this other end. There is one here that, yeah, let's go in a little closer. Again, you can see the banding isn't perfectly concentric. Picture the edge of an agate geode. And then you can picture banding that is not exactly always, there we go, let's go in and look at this. Not always exactly concentric, not always evenly spaced. Now you know you are looking at something that is not been created in a repetitive fashion. It is a natural stone that then is, I think, can be completely natural and dark, but it can also then go through some of the heat treatments that they do to this material to darken it. There is one particular one here that has a V shape to the pattern, and it is exactly like banding and agate would look like. But the main thing is that it's not completely black, and that when you can look through, oh, here it is. Okay, Dave, can we come in a little on this one, please, sir? When you have a pattern that you can see, let's see, I can't quite see the other side to this, but that is not uniform, then, thank you, sir. Ah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Then you know that you're talking about something that is natural. And that's what this is. So you're getting not a calcite onyx. Remember, black onyx is a cryptocrystalline quartz. It's an agate, basically, in that form. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. So all that being said, and the lesson that comes for free with it, and the price of this makes it only, it should make it a lot more than the $56 only lonely dollars I am charging for that. Only $56. I mean, the silver's certainly worth all that, and the stones, wow. Yeah, I think so. That's an amazing opportunity. And now you got a lesson about black onyx that you should have, because there's a whole lot of it out there in the market that is not, actually most of it, I would say, is not a genuine stone. It's a man-made glass or a man-made hard stone. All right, let me give you the next item number. Check these out. This is item 1045422. Now, how about a pair of diamond earrings? How about a pair of diamond earrings at an amazing deal? These 14 karat, they're 20 points each, so they are fifth of a carat. Look at these. Look at these princess cuts. Princess cuts, and a perfect quality for earrings. In other words, earrings can have some inclusions in them. No one is going to, let me look at one of these as a matter of fact. No one is going to get so close in your personal space to be able to see anything. If so, it better be just your main man. Yeah, so I'm looking at this. That has just one little inclusion. So it's an SI quality stone, which is really nicer than an earring you even need. And wow, this one is really actually nicer than an earring needs to be. So if you don't need them as earrings, you can certainly split them up. One's better than the other by an easy grade. GIA grade, so I'd say one's a SI2, the other's easily a SI1, maybe a VS2. All right, so you can see nice, oh, let me take them off the black. I really should have put them on white, but that's what you can tell. Look at that. Now you can get to see the color better, and the brilliance, and the basket mines, and the nice weight backs on them. Okay, I have a crazy price, because these in princess cuts very popular. These are great for any age even. And I am offering these for sale. So I think I had some fifth of a carats the other day, the round ones. These aren't quite that nice, but certainly going to be an amazing deal for both stones. Yep, you get the pair. Here we go. How about only, wow, I don't know. Let's do this. Let's make sure they sell. Only, you know, the mountings, how much the mountings would cost? Think about that. And the story Harry just mentioned. Only $128 for both. That's right, for the pair. $128. So, you know, I bet if you had to get the mountings and set the labor, I bet that'd be $100. I really do. So you left with what? $28 for the carrier. So that's kind of a silly price. And actually, I regret that. If they do not sell, they will not be that price again if I even offer them for sale again. That is Shawn losing his mind. Now, I have some amazing stuff to show you, so I better, quit talking. 111-2723. 111-2723. Okay, who was it? Wake up, Mr. Was it Anthony? I'm not sure. I got to remember. Memory's fading me. Look at this. Yes, I had one more, and I brought it in. Oh, yes. Check it out. Wow. Wow, that's what all of you have wanted because we know the other two sold. Beautiful blue forest, Wyoming, petrified wood. Now remember what I told you. This is what I recommend on this. Look it up so you can get the entire story. The entire story about how it's formed is way more elaborate than my abbreviated version of what I told you the other day. So I won't tell you the other story. I'm going to show you new stuff. But just remember that the entire limb fell into a very swampy area of the lake in a, let's say, picture it in a back slough where the water didn't move much. Well, algae built up around it, which then later a calcareous shell built around that. And what happened was the wood dried out inside of that shell of that exterior. When the wood dried, it created a gap between the outside algae and the original limb. In that gap, chalcedony filled in, and you can see that right there, which also fluoresces beautifully. And there's your limb. Oftentimes you can have, you'll find animal, bug trails where they've eaten into it, which is often interesting. Also, you can find some of the this is pepperwood, remember? So you can find original bark on it also, which is difficult. So this outer portion here, that is basically fossilized algae in the end. So bark would be when the wood comes closer to the edge. This is a really beautiful piece, a wonderful angle, and an original tag, Wyoming pepperwood with bark. See, that is a rare thing when the bark comes to the edge like that, and you can see the bark as well. That item, take advantage of it. It's only $68. Only $68. So certainly priced to sell. Whoever got, if one person got the other two, let someone else grab this one. If so we can share those amongst other people. That's a great piece. Now, I have some others. Let me show one more item here, and then I'm going to take a moment break to put some of these up. This is a rarity. Oh, yes, item 11-12-123. 11-12-123. Let's take a trip up to the Spruce Pine District of North Carolina. I am offering you something now that would cost a small fortune for you to get this item up there. Well, actually a small fortune anywhere. This is one of America's greatest discoveries. Emeralds at the Crabtree Mine. in North Carolina. There's a long history to the discovery of emeralds there, but it's certainly the most famous place to find emeralds in the United States. That and later the Wrist Mine. The Crabtree Mine, though, is the better known one and is an outstanding or original discovery for emerald. This is an end cut piece that I personally had. You're going to find tourmaline and hornblende in this end cut. In the tourmaline, it's in the form of dravite. Now, let's go in closer on this, and as we explore it, you're going to see that maybe you recognize the shape because I have taken some saw cuts off of it. Now, as you look, here we go. You can spot some green, and that's what you look for. The green in this piece happens to be along the rind, the edge of it, but look at that. As we come in closer on this, look at the colors in that. That is dravite tourmaline you're seeing right there, and you can see that coffee yellow color tone. You can also see, look at that, that's the end, you know, the triangular shape to a tourmaline crystal. Then look at the sides, the intersecting crystals you can see here as well. Now, I have not sprayed this with my shiny spray. You can do that if you want. Let me show you what I have left. I have given someone the opportunity. I haven't sprayed it either. So let's go in and travel right along the edge here because look at, there's an emerald right there. And as we keep going, you're going to see there's emeralds right there. Look at the thick biotite mica on the surface, and you have incredible crystallization that you can take multiple slabs still. This is thick enough. If you have the right saw blade, you can take multiple saw cuts and discover additional emeralds that are in this piece. So you can see these emeralds that come down to here. And Dave, if you'll take us right in close on this, there we go. And if I give it a wet look, like as if we polished it, you can see, look at 1, 2, 3, and emeralds, this will show up much better in person than just looking at it through a television. You have a streak of emeralds right down there, and then you have them on the exterior as well. This is and then the other tourmaline and the hornblende, it makes a spectacular display specimen. This, you can cut the bottom off if you want, but it also displays really nicely just like that. So you can put this on a flat lap. Now I know Charles got a flat lap. This would work great on that for one. And I'm looking at this with my eyes, and yeah, I can see the emeralds much, much clearer than even on television. Yeah, there's an amazing one right here, right on the exterior, and more down here. So this piece from the Crabtree Mine is almost, well, extinct. Let's put it that way. The mine is really, there's only mining, heap mining. In other words, the only mining done there now is by exploring the tailings, what's left from past mining. So any new material is just not being found. This is a big size piece and a fantastic specimen. And I guess I'm gonna just let someone else have a lot of fun with it. I did, as you can see, by taking the saw cuts off of it. I'm gonna make it only $118. $118. If you even look for this kind of material and at the prices they offer when something's this large, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. because the Crabtree mine and the Crabtree emeralds are world renowned, going back quite a long way. And one of the original ways and first ways they actually offered it was cutting it with the matrix. So, and you've seen like that silver ring I had for a long time from the Crabtree mine. So it had emeralds cut with the matrix around it, and which gave it a nice look then and still does now. All right, take advantage of that. Now, I have this next item. Well, I tell you what, let me put away a couple things. I'll be right back with the show because this next item will take a couple minutes to explain. Okay, I have never offered anything like this before. As you can see, this is a lighted scolecite specimen with an aquamarine. The two don't go together, just to let you know. Now, Latif was clever enough to pick up on the fact, like, what's that aqua doing with that scolecite? They don't go together. No, you're right. But this box is so cool. This lighted box is so cool. You can use it for a single specimen or put multiple ones to show them off. This is something difficult for me to part with, but I thought, you know, I need to share some of my really, really cool stuff. And this is one of them, okay? And the cool factor, you haven't even seen everything yet. All right, so for one thing, you can see by my hand the size of it. Well, for one thing, the scolecite that's inside it right now is what's really special. This scolecite, if you have not picked up on one of them, because, you know, I've only sold mostly museum level scolecites that I bought years ago, and I was smart enough to buy everything this desperate dealer had, and it was at a discount. And that's the only reason I can offer these. When you compare these and look them up, if you can find any in the internet world, you will realize just what a value I have offered all the scolecites I have had. This is a tremendous Indian scolecite from Nashik, Maharashtra. So that's where it's coming from. Then there's also, you see in there, a Namibian aquamarine. So the Namibian aquamarine has nothing to do with the scolecite, though it comes with it and the lighted box. The whole idea of the lighted box is you can put anything in it you want. You can even put a chia pet in there if you want and use it for a grow light. But of course, mineral specimens are what is the coolest thing in there. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to take the scolecite out and we'll examine it a little bit better. But first, let me show you. Look at how easy this is. Okay, so the front comes out, yes, to access it, and then look at that. Look at that amazing aqua. It just, look at that. I mean, you could even, you know, perch it on top of other crystals. You could create your own type of display looks. Now, I'm going to move it to the side for a moment while we look at this. This is stunning. So all three directions. Now, let's do this. Dave, if you'll turn the lights on, and then, okay, perfect. All right, let's look at this specimen close up, and let's show you, I'm going to show you where the lomentite is. See that? Lomentite, almost, okay, so see all these other white crystals? And when you get to looking really carefully and closely, you'll see there's all kinds of them here and there. And some have that classic lomentite look. And I would not be surprised if you did not find another of the zeolite family members in this piece also. There's a very light pink color tone to it, so if you're seeing that, You're seeing it correctly. Look at that wonderful radial formation coming up from the base. And it just looks so beautiful in the black that I thought, wow, this is a great specimen to put in there. So I recommend having a lot of fun with a loop higher magnification and checking out these different clusters of white formations there. And most likely, no telling, you might find a gyrolite, you might find an oconite. All right, now, look at that. So now let me show you about the box. So, okay, there, you can see just how beautiful that will display kind of any mineral specimen, but there's something else this box does. Okay, that is displaying it from the light coming from above. Let's do this. This flips around and look at that. The light now is from below, and you can easily put this top up there, and then your specimen is lighted from below if it has any translucence to it. Ah, there we go, Dave. Wow, look at this. This is magical, and we all thought that it actually looked better with the light from below. Look at that aqua. Now, if we pull this up further into the light, you can see it adds a glow to the entire specimen. The other thing is, this is operating just off of one of those really low watt nightlight bulbs. Well, you can get, and there's space, those nightlight bulbs that are much, they're 15 watt, 20 watt. You can really amp up, so to speak, the light in the base. You can also, of course, get different color lights if you want to create different other looks. But like you can see how the light, even through that much zeolite material, travels through it. So if you put a piece of quartz there, Arkansas quartz, and we did at home, we had a lot of fun. It really was magnificent and radiated through all the quartz. You can see what it does to the aqua. You can really see into the aqua now, completely different. And why I put it there, because of the color contrast. No, it has nothing to do with the scolecite, but if you're going to use a neat light like this, it'd be kind of neat to put several different specimens along the lighted base to show off as well as the one large one. I actually wanted to do that with this, but then Raven and I decided, well, everything I add, it would add to the cost of the piece, and I didn't want to get that. But this, look at that aqua. Look at that aqua clarity. That is amazing. So you can see through this aqua. Look at that. Look at that. That's a natural color. Natural color aqua. No heat treatment here. So you have that wonderful green in there. Look at that display. Isn't that neat? So it's reversible. A light from above, a light from below. You can put, that's what I was going to show you. Hold on 1 minute. Oh, did I leave it out? No, hang on. It's worth me getting out to show you the different. Let's say you have this at your house. Well, you could change out the mineral specimen each week, let's say, to something different. Because, let me show you this. This is that owl. And wow. Look at that. Look at how cool that owl looks and glows in there like that. So you could even put then an aqua specimen for like he's perched on it. No end to what you can creatively do. All right, so with this package deal, you get the box, you get the incredibly rare scolecite specimen, and you get the aqua crystal. I only have one. That's all there's ever going to be. And remember, this is really neat because it goes right in front, that easy, and wow. Okay, thank you, sir. So take advantage, because this entire setup, everything you see, the aqua, the scolecite, and my favorite lighted box that I guess I'm going to part with. You notice I must really need that tooth to part with that, which I really do need. So what's it going to be, Shawn? A tooth or a cool lighted box? All right. Here we go. Ready, set. Who's going to be the lucky person that gets everything you see? Let me make sure I have the right price on that. Okay, let me make sure. Here it is. Okay, I've showed you the Lomentite. I've showed you everything about it. I can't delay any longer. $198. I am not kidding you. Only $198 for everything. The scolecite specimen, look that up. You're going to find that those are $400 that size in just the scolecite. What is the aqua? What is that cool plastic lighted box? To me, that lighted box is better than anything. All right. So I won't make it mandatory for you to tell me, whoever you are that gets that, but it'd be cool to know. Yeah, it's amazing how many people actually watch and buy from the show. No wonder you guys can't get stuff you want. A lot of buyers competing for this material. All right, I tell you what, that's going to take a minute to put up. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. All right, what I'm getting ready to show you, I have never offered before. You say, well, you've offered a silver box before. Yeah, not just any silver box. This is a special silver box. It also holds something I told myself I would not sell any more of that I had. But a special silver box should hold something special inside, and it does. Look at this. A faceted, wow, iridescent rainbow garnet. One of only a few I have left in the faceted, wow, this is stunning. This has color. Let me grab it out of here first. This is has amazing iridescence. And as Dave shows us on all sides, look at the purples on that side. Look at that. Look at the iridescence on that corner. Then of course you have the checkerboard face, which is just dynamic. And let me set this down and turn it around and show you the other side facets. Look at the colors in that one. Just really a remarkable piece. It's over a carat, which matters. And you can see this is the style that they cut them. They don't cut them like in a crown and a pavilion. This is a really rare gem. There's the back of it. The Japanese rainbow iridescent garnet is hands down the most valuable and most beautiful iridescent garnet there is. Okay, so I can put this safely back in its little spot I created for it. Look at that, being my birthstone, something special like that deserves a special box. Well, let me tell you about this special box. You have natural hand engraving, but I hope Dave can take us to what's really valuable, and that is these letters on the back. There we go. That's what I wanted him to do. Okay, as you can see, we're going to do from left to right. We're going to explain what these are, because here is the money shot. All right, so when you look on the left, you see that shield shape. Inside that, I can read it. If you can't, I drew it in my primitive way, AN. That stands for the manufacturer, Ari Norman. His business ran from 1977 to 2005. Okay, let's look at the next. The next, what you have is called the lion passant. And that is the walking lion. And the walking lion is the English hallmark for 925 silver. So you can see the lion with the in the prancing position or whatever. I don't know exactly what passant means, but it probably means something to that effect. Let me check and look at something here. There we go. All right, so you see you have the AN, there is the lion, and as we go down, then we have the panther face. See the panther's head? Then you have, and this is important, a particular N in a script style capitalized within an octagonal shape. And that is important. That is their method of dating it. So they use the alphabet A to Z, and they cover every year, going back hundreds of years, by changing the shape of the letter within a certain exterior shape that it's within. Between those two combinations, like let's say a block C, a block capital C, a script C, a script C within a circle, script C within a square. They can use those combinations so many times that you can cover every year. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Then you have a set of scales. There's a set of scales, and let me turn that so you can see in between the scales is actually the numbers 925. That is the international stamp for sterling silver. So it has been stamped for international trade. And then the very last item is the classic 925 stamp for all other trade. If you don't know the markings, like as for like the United States, you want the 925 is acceptable. The international trade for Europe would be the scales, and for England, you come back to the lion passant, the walking lion. Now, let me show you with my primitive drawing right here, the N, the capital, the N inside a octagonal, inside octagon, that stands for the year, the date stamp. And I looked it up, the date stamp is 1987. So using that exact stamp they have, I could mark the year this was made and guarantee you that it was made in 1987. That's how important and accurate these stamps are. Then this, the 925 that you couldn't see between the scales, that is for the international trade. Back up here, the leopard head, which I couldn't draw. That means that this piece was made in London. So that is the stamp. Let's say if it was made in Birmingham, England, the stamp for that, I believe, is an anchor. So each of the major cities in England that is a manufacturer for silver and gold trading will have its own town stamp or the own city stamp. So all those stamps across there tell a complete history to this piece the one that has the year is the most important one to me. I always love knowing when something exactly was made, and it is a lesson for everybody right there to learn your hallmarks. This is a really well-made piece, and I did not see those until right now. Look at that. So they have, for the lid, a complete separate set. 925, the leopard, the lion passant, and the international 925 stamp. I didn't even see it. So, because it's two pieces, the lid is actually marked separately. How cool is that? How cool is that? That's a lot of work for a little silver box, but I love silver boxes. So, you get the silver box with the info, which actually, if you've ever noticed, and Christy, in inventory, see these little information things I do like that? I didn't know. Of course, you get to see my writing, but all of these, like one this, whoever buys that, she will actually include my little informational handwritten sheet like that. So you get the info on the box and my handwritten primitive markings as well. So 1987 box, a very cool piece, and the coolest part about it, of course, is that garnet that's going to come with it inside. What an amazing opportunity for somebody to get. There's only the one of them, and I'm offering the garnet and the box for only $188. $188 on that. One of a kind. Absolutely a treasure that I'll miss parting with. But let me show you another one. I got to take my mind off of that one. This one will do it. Dave's going to love giving you a tour on this piece. It is 11/13/323. 11/13/323. Let me see if that was right. Maybe not.
11/13/333.
It is. Hold on. What am I looking at here? Yeah, that would be 11/13/323. Yep. All right. Look at this. Everyone, here is. It's world class. It could almost be museum grade for a lot of museums. This is one of the finest ones I have. It is, and that's why it's lasted this long without me selling it, sphalerite. When you have sphalerite that is shiny, the surface of it is shiny, that is a huge bonus in a specimen, and that's what you're seeing. Shiny sphalerite for one thing. Now, then, let's go in and show you some of the other amazing merits. You have the cubic pyrite here. Classic cubes. Then, look at the quartz crystals scattered all around this piece. It is on 3 sides. And then, there's more, because there's little pockets and vugs. As we explore this piece, and boy did I ever, when I started looking at this, I could not take my eyes off it. Look at these wonderful sprays of quartz, or this single one perched right there. Then look at these sphalerites in so many of the classic crystal forms that you want to find it in. But then all of a sudden, look, there's a little pocket of vug that goes deep in there with a quartz cluster and a pyrite. Look at the pyrite to the entrance. Then look back behind the pyrite. Can you take us in there, Dave? That's amazing. Amazing. And then as we come around here, look it down in there. Look it down in there. This is a specimen that you can spend a lot of time. It is in the world famous Animon mine, which is well known amongst collectors for sphalerite combination specimens. Look at that. And look at the little pyrites. Then there's something else. Look at that. Look at the shape. Look at that. That's unique. All right, then look when you see a cluster of sphalerites like that. You can see the classic triangle that it will often form. And then there was something else I wanted to see. Oh, there, look at that one. Look at that one perched. That's that one we saw. Wow, look it down in there. You know, we always think of sphalerite being an orangish or reddish type color. So I explored this with a little bit more of lighting. And let's go in right in here and see if, there we go. See it as you spot these little places that are orange, and you can also catch some of the edges of the sphalerite and glean a little bit of some of that classic red color tone. See right there, you get to see some orange and red. Oh, there we go. Look at that. What a difference that makes, Dave. Thank you. There we go. Look at that. There's more. And so in the sphalerite, you do have some of that very desirable colors as well. Look at that. Look at that bed of quartz. How beautiful is that? Oh, look at that. That's why on a specimen like this, literally hours you can spend looking at it. Here's the backside. Here's the backside. And look at that. There's some of your yellow. Look it down in that pocket. Look at that. There's crystals in there. Wow. And then as we wrap around to this side, there we go. There's some more of the orange. Look. See, that's where I want to be. A little tiny something and crawl back in there. Thank you, sir. All right. So here is a large, what would be considered cabinet quality size and cabinet quality. And I can't say enough about the sphalerite being shiny. That is a desirable look, especially as well crystallized as it is. Then with the classic pyrites and the quartz to add to that. Beautiful, beautiful, high quality type of world-class specimen. And I just can't say enough good about it. It's really a something that you want to treasure, as I have. And it's kind of nice to be able to pass this treasure on and then pass it on at a price that is very affordable to all of you. And that's going to be only, wow, I guess I'll do it for this. Okay, only $148. $148 on that. And yeah, can't say enough good about that piece. Okay, the clock ticking on us, but I have enough time to show you a couple more. I'll put these things away later because I want to spend my time showing you something else. Since we talked about it, now I have something I guess I'll part with. Item 111-2023. 111-2023, and just hold up on the graphic for a minute because I want to show this to everybody. I'm going to show it to you wet so you know what it would look like as if it was polished, and I want to see in your, before the graphics come up, I just want to see if any of you can recognize it for what it is. Just think it to yourself. Check this out. All right, and as Dave shows us closer, you're going to see something much more magnificent than what you may have first thought, including the black streak, and then you have multiple color greens, and then let's go in and look at some of this blue. As you can see, this has got multicolors, and you have then these little botryoidal formation, a little crystalline formation actually. You can see multiple greens and blues, and as this dries, I'll be able to show you something else. Okay, so think for a minute what you might think that it is. All right, and now we can pull up the graphics and tell you what it is. This is incredible. DR stands for Democratic Republic of the Congo. Chrysocolla. Chrysocolla and heterogenite. You're saying, what? Heterogenite, yes, which does translate to, it's Greek, and it means of another kind. In other words, it differs from other minerals that look the same, but it's different than them, than what you might think it is. Chrysocolla actually stands, chryso for the gold part, cola stands for glue, meaning that it is material. This was used for smelting gold. In other words, it was used as the glue for gold, to pull gold out of other alloys. So chrysocolla is a copper aluminum silicate with water. Heterogenite is a cobalt-oxy, and here's the formula, oxyhydroxide. So it's a cobalt oxyhydroxide, and that is actually quite rare. Chrysocolla hardness of 2.5 to 3. Overall, the specific gravity of this is around 2 to 2.4. It has a heavier feel, and this is from the Étoile du Congo mine. In other words, it's easier to say it in English, but that is the French pronunciation of the mine. It means Star of the Congo. Okay, now, the piece I showed you the other day, all that solid color green, you can see that green in here. But the real valuable chrysocolla often is banded in color, or can be banded in different colors. And that's how you can see that. Now, this piece most likely would cut stones. So you just would probably saw it in this direction. You'd still leave a flat base, but you would end up with some beautiful areas for cabbage stones. But there's something else I want to show you. Can we come as close as we can? All right. You see these shiny areas? They are not wet. Those are not shiny because they are wet. They are shiny because, let me see over here. You can see the blue color because there is quartz. There is quartz that run along here. And with the chrysocolla and the quartz, what you're getting is areas of gem silica. Yep, there is areas of gem silica, and you can see it in the blue portions. And when you look at the blue, you can tell they're not nearly as porous as the green. In other words, it is a silica or a quartz colored by the salts from the chrysocolla. The heterogenite is this black material coming right down through here. And then these, I am not exactly sure. I think, oh, that's what they are. Let me see if I can actually show you. I'm not sure exactly what the yellowish cream color is because it is over the top of the quartz. So let's see if we can look through here, and what you're going to see is, there we go, excellent. All right, little tiny druzy quartz crystals, and that's why you see that in the description. When we look down on those, you'll see they are six-sided points. Six-sided points, and they're not all covered. There you go, you can see a little cluster of them right there. Dave doing an awesome job. You can flake some of that material off, and you'll see that there's little quartz crystals underneath them. Look at that. So if there's quartz and if there's chrysocolla, what do the two get you? Look at that. There you can see the crystals without that covering. You look at those crystals right there. Those crystals are a green-blue color. They are the gem silica. That is quartz crystals that are colored by the chrysocolla. And they're all underneath there. And look at that. See those shiny areas? If you wanted to cut into that, you could cut some gem silica out of that piece. But it is absolutely beautiful. Left, look at that. Left like that. Put it in the display box from time to time. This would be one you could also spray with a my shiny stuff, you know, just a lacquer spray to get a brighter look. Hold on, there's something I just noticed. What in the world is in this pocket right here? Look at that. There we go. I was looking at this from a distance and spotted this area, and it looked really gemmy, and I'll show you. Thank you, sir. As we bring it back to look at that right in there. Very gemmy. This is a fun piece to look at for a long time. I have a price on here that you should love as well. And I am making that piece, believe it or not, only have the one. You're gonna love it. I've always offered all of my chrysocolla super values. Only $88 on that. Only $88. A stunning deal. Okay, now let me move a little quicker since I've gotten through some of the longer pieces. Take a little longer to present. Let me show you. Oh man, there's so much cool stuff. I am going to show you item 111-3223. 1 second here. Let me get this out. And this is the last one of these I have. And you know how much I like, well, what you're getting ready to see. Okay, let me make sure I have this item number scanned in. Okay, look at this. I made another, hold on, let me move that. Look, look, look. Okay, what we have, a lapis box. I used to have, a whole lot of these. I'm down to the last one. With the lid that, of course, this is holding closed. Probably didn't mean for it to be that hard to take off, but I would. Okay, now, we'll put that right back there. Look at this. Okay, so what I did was I took this. I said, I just can't offer the box. It has to be something else. You can see on the with the description, everything else. Look at this. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. I have made you your own mojo box of special crystals. Look at this. These are things that I told you, crumbs, what Kim calls her crumbs, often are really nice little micro specimens. Look at that. That is a huge vanadinite crystal. This, when have you seen a dioptase crystal that big? Look at the size of that. Pink tourmaline. Oh, beautiful scolecite. Look how long that is. Oh, this is probably my favorite in there. Look at that, a goshenite, which is clear beryl, a goshenite crystal cluster. And let me show you, this is ultra white paper. That is true goshenite. There is not a hint of aqua of color in that. True, perfectly clear beryl. That's a rare find in itself. And the last one, look at that. That's quartz. Look at what a beautiful quartz crystal is. So, if you're into the metaphysical side or just love a box full of lovely crystals or use it for something else, I put the velvet in there. I did that myself. I did. All right, so what a neat piece. And wow. Huh? I love it. And how about the box and everything else? All those crystals in it for the price of only $98. $98. The lapis box. That's so cool. Worth more than that. Now, let me show you. I've been holding this one out for actually weeks, months. Item number 1112. Oh, okay. 1112-823. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Here's a treasure. I had mentioned this weeks ago that I had a blue topaz. Look at that with the double halo of diamonds around it. And the diamonds are really fine quality. I technically did not check that, which is bad. I should have checked the refractive index. What if that's a Santa Maria aquamarine? My thing is, why did they surround this with a double row of diamonds? I don't know. But I can promise you this, I did not check it. Only because I've seen a lot of blue topaz. This is where assuming is stupid. I should have checked it, but I did it. I assumed that it was blue topaz. It kind of had the look of blue topaz. But what I am selling this for, I'm actually not charging for the center stone whatsoever. I'm basically offering it as a semi-mount, and you get whatever this is for free. Now, I'm calling it a blue topaz, but I'm not calling it blue topaz because it tested blue topaz. I'm calling it blue topaz because it just looked like it, which is bad gemology. Bad gemology. But I figured, well, at the price I'm offering this for, it's a semi-mount. And you can take the middle stone out, and I even put in the dimensions you see. So you can put anything, 18 by 13 will work, a 16 by 12 will work. It has 6 prongs. It's set really well. It was actually made for this stone. So someone spent a lot of time and effort and The diamonds are really nice. A conservative 2.5 carats of diamonds. There's 44 diamonds, and they measure 2.4 millimeters. So that technically is like a 6-point diamond. So there should be, more like 2 3/4 carat. And the quality, if you took the diamonds out, I have someone buying up a lot of our diamonds that I've offered. If you took the diamonds out and scrapped the gold, you would come out really well. That would be a great opportunity to buy diamonds inexpensively. I am offering this entire ring, and now hold on because I don't, I write the price everywhere, and then in the end, I never seem to find it. And so then I go and make up some price that is nowhere near what my brain had originally thought for it to be. So that has happened again. Anyway, I am therefore going to make this an unbelievable deal. Yep. An unbelievable deal. Look at that. That's such a pretty middle stone. It doesn't have a Swiss blue color. It does not have a London blue color. It has, to me, early topaz color. When they first started, finding it, maybe natural color. I've never seen natural color that dark, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's an aquamarine. I really, truly don't know. Price on this guy, you ready, set? I am, due to lack of knowledge and pricing, I am going to make this one only $1,188. $1,188. 2.5 carats of diamonds, lots of gold, a beautiful center stone, and an excellent value. Next, let me show you. Remember that garnet? Remember I said where it came from? I'm going to tell you. 1113-123. 1113-123. And here is where it came from. I tumbled all of these. Look at this. Look at these. 3 bags. They are 500 carats each, 100 grams. Now, there's ruby and garnets, mostly garnets, okay? And as we look at these closer, you can see sometimes there's other little treasures in these. And some amethyst. There's mostly, you can easily spot the rubies, and all of them have rubies. These also, by the way, are great for tumbling fillers because of their hardness. So if you were wanting to add something to tumble at the polish phase and only had a few of them, like a little bit of quartz or a little bit of add these to it in the polishing phase, and you can help to polish that material, but it needs to be in the same hardness as these are. And there is something fun you can do. I'm just going to take this out for 1 second here. See, look at how much that really adds up to. So you can do your Zen garden, you can do all kinds of things, but one of the fun things you can do is you can determine what garnets that you have in there. So, boom, look at that. Did you see that? Okay, I was going to do that because I had found one of these, and okay, here, you see it? All right, now let me show you. This is one of those neodymium magnets, and look at how far away that I could control that stone. You know what that stone is that would do that? That's magnetite. I'm going to put it back in this parcel because I didn't even know I had one. So when you pick them up like that, see the garnets? You know that much, that strong of a magnetic response that it is going to be almandine. But if it's not quite as strong, these colors definitely show rhodolite, have a pyrope content to them. But when you look at these up with the light against a flashlight, you're going to find there's oranges in there. You might have some hessonites. You might have all kinds of different colors. But the one thing you do have is lots of facet grade material. And then there's lots of rubies in here that are actually have a polish as well. So they would be fun to play and go through and enjoy figuring what's what. Okay, so I have a few minutes. Let me see what I can get to you. Oh yeah, price, thank you. I have 3, an opportunity to get 3. They're only $25 each. $25 for all of that. It is worth it just to have to play with and to look at and to pick out the facet grade ones and to determine which is which. You can learn from those. And it's easy to find any magnetite. Just run the magnet over the top of them. Let's look at item, so 3 different, you just say 3 different parcels. And you know, I have a couple others. So if someone wants more than one, go ahead and get them. If you missed out on a parcel and want one, let me know and I'll make sure that I get another one for you. Just create or have a work order done to back order one. All right, item 1113-423. Since we have closed out the month of March, I wanted to finish with a couple March opportunities, and that would be aquamarine. Take a look. I have a crystal for you, besides, of course, the one you can get in that box. Here is a beautiful one, natural color, lots of neat irises in it. Look at that intense blue. See that blue? That's what makes me wonder about that that piece with the double row of diamonds. It's like, no, it couldn't be. It's got, so anyway, but I never did check. Cross my heart, never checked. I should have. Oh, here's what I want to see. Let's show this. This is what makes this really neat. Out of all the crystals of aqua I've had, you see that penetration area where another crystal was and then did not combine with it, but certainly left its reverse skeletal place in a triangle like that. So I was trying to figure out what could that be. I'm not sure. 3 sides like that though. So that makes that really neat and unusual. And I have priced this one real inexpensively. That crystal, only $64, and that is only $1 a carat. Yeah, it's 65 carats, only $1 a carat on that. So an excellent value for you. Okay, let's see. Here, one more. I know everybody wanted aquas. You bought me out of the ones I had. So item 11-12-623. 11-12-623. And let me show you this one. Here is another aqua. Aqua is such a beautiful color. These are all natural color. Remember, I don't have any of the heat-treated ones. Look at this. This is a cluster, basically. You have multiple crystals coming together. And look at the, it's almost like a bicolor. Look at the clarity. And then, hold on, let me see 1 second here. Let me get my white piece of paper behind there. Look at that. Oh, absolutely. That is Goshenite at the top. Wow, how neat is that? And then that's actually facet grade right there. Wow, what a beautiful cluster that is. Yeah, that's a really nice aqua crystal. And that one, well, I believe that one is going to be the other one was 64. Yep, okay, $68. $68 on that one. Wow, that's a great piece for that. A great piece for that amount of money. Okay, now I have with the couple minutes that we have left. Yeah, let's see. We'll go 3 more minutes. Okay. First, right here, item 1093. We have 109-12-22. 109-12-22. Okay, so better to get them before August than after or during. They'll be gone. Look at this. Okay, here is a parcel right here. Look at those of peridot. 7 by 5 millimeter. And they all match. All clean. And what's amazing, they're 10 stones. I'm just going to leave them like they are right there. And how would you like 10 stones? Look at that. Here's why you guys like the show. 10 stones, faceted, $11. $11. I kid you not. Not gonna find them like that anywhere. Okay, and then I have the, let's do this, the last item of the show. Item 11-08623. 11-08623. Now, I am really surprised that this I still have. I had never offered one before, and look at that, a black opal. Black opal. I have offered those. A black pearl. Look at that. Pinctada margaritifera is the oyster that it comes from. Pinctada maxima is what the big South Sea pearls come from. And look at how clean that is. Okay, so this is drilled, I believe. There we go. So you see it's drilled there, and it's always usually drilled on the opposite side of where the nicest point facing up is. And I can see they did that as well. Look at that. So a wonderful face-up piece. This actually goes back a long time in the pearl farming when they let the oysters grow for a longer amount of time, giving it a thicker nacre and a better luster around it. That's why I know exactly the year this was actually grown. 1997. 12 millimeter. That's a big pearl. I tell you what, I am going to discount that price. So maybe someone was gambling, hoping for a discount. Well, I'm going to give that to you. And I am going to drop this. I believe it was $88. And you know what? Let's sell it. Let's sell it. Let's make it right now only, well, let's do something really, $58. I just heard Asif's grunt. I know, Asif. I know. It's crazy. Asif knows pearls by now. He knows. He's heard what they cost individually and otherwise. So there you go. A grunt from Asif is worth a buy it now sign. That means you better buy it now. Yeah. Yeah. Think about how the oyster feels.
5 years in the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, it took years for it to grow that. You're right. To get that kind of thickness to the nacre and that beautiful, beautiful color tint. Now they rush them out of the 6 months to a year is all. They let them grow. And if you can actually pick at the surface and pick off the natural growth that's around the nuclei that they put in there. These, I've actually saw these before in half when I've gotten them for study, and it's amazing how thick the older pearls are, how much longer they let them grow than they do now. So, yeah, Asif knows. He's heard, he's seen, he knows. That's as good of a recommendation as you can get when he grunts like that and he knows that price is a bargain. So, all right, that'll be the last item of the show. Let me take a moment, come up with some trivia questions. I'll be right back. All right, well, and just like that, the show is over. And I was just looking over here. I actually had done things that, anyway, there's always next Monday, because I will be here as well next Monday. Really excited. I was really excited about the different items I brought to you today. Hopefully, someone will take advantage of that blue topaz piece or whatever that may be, since I am basically selling the mounting. I could see some of you cutters out there cutting something beautiful for it, because it's such a good value. Or some of you that may just want the diamonds, tearing all those matched diamonds up and out of there and using the gold. All kinds of different ways to get the value out of that piece. But really, the one I really love is bringing you that presentation, lighted presentation box. I mean, who couldn't use that in their home as a night light or entrance display item? Put something even nicer than what I'm offering there. So as a package, I think it's a good value. All right, so did you take notes? You could take notes of the show. You can watch the show as many times as you want before you hear the trivia questions. So if you want to watch the show a couple times, and we always stop and take that break where you can end it before you hear the trivia, so you can soak up any more knowledge before you answer it. That's another way. But as soon as the trivia is spoken, no more play and rewind. All right, ready? Question number 1. What is, I hope I word this right, what is the visual giveaway look like if something is natural ivory? So I stressed that, went over that a couple different times, and you can describe it any way you want. I described it a couple of different ways as far as what to look for if it is something is natural ivory. I think you'll find that that's one of the best lessons if you don't know than many other lessons I could give you. For one thing, mostly you won't be dealing in ivory out there, but if there's something that you really like and you are dead set against buying ivory, which you're not supposed to anyway, even mammoth ivory, we tried that here at Gem Shopping, and because you can trade in that, but what happens is you never know when all of a sudden people change the description of their item from ivory to mammoth ivory, and it's real difficult to tell the difference on pieces that have been carved or formed unless they're really old. There's some methods, but they're not 100%. So better not to sell it at all, and I am totally for that. So there's going to be times, though, when you need to know to avoid buying ivory, or to know if something you're being handed down or whatnot is. Plus, it's just one of those identification things that you should know. Simple as that. And it is pretty much foolproof if that particular look that I mentioned is there. So what do you look for in natural ivory? That's just another way to put it, to tell if it's real. All right, that was question number 1. Question number 2. And this is something we covered and used to joke about. So I want to hear everybody with correct answers, because in today's show, I showed the item, but I know that I mentioned what family it belonged to only one time, and it was in kind of in passing. So my question is this: scolecite belongs to what mineral group. What mineral group is scolecite part of? That's just another way of saying it. Okay, good luck with those. I hope everyone is enjoying your spring, and I hope everyone is saving your change underneath the couch pillows for this show, and maybe even get into a little of that mad money. I just appreciate all of you so much, and you give back to me and gem shopping so much, especially in some of the purchases lately. That opal ring, by the way, also that opal ring I showed last week sold, and many of the other nicer pieces. So that's encouraging, because I know you're getting amazing value to get that here first. So, and I appreciate it, because it helps me. So, and I kind of need that. All right. I love you all. I am so proud of all of you, and how far all of you have come along in your learning. And I can see that, I can feel that. And so let's keep the show going. God bless, and I will look forward to all of you next Monday.